Good morning, and thanks for tuning in to the Way of Life Thursday check-in. I'm Michael Schechter, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in or picking out this video in an effort to keep that way of life momentum going. By now, of course, hopefully you've looked at the week 6 materials. Great information on navigating menus, different types of menus, as well as a video, again, on navigating the menus. You can see that the handouts talk about different types of cuisines and strategies for healthy eating and getting some produce picks in, even when you're outside of the house. Now, learning how to navigate menus is such an important skill, and it's one we're going to work on a lot this week, including having you analyze different menu options. And instead of analyzing menu options on a restaurant menu, you can also analyze options on some of the meal kits we're going to talk about today, because that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about meal kits that may simplify your life. Now, one of the keys to the Way of Life program is to plan and prepare meals that will provide you with nutritious choices, calorie sensible options, and plenty of produce picks. So again, planning, purchasing, preparing, great ways to go. And of course, then during preparation, we have to portion out things and store them appropriately. This week, we'll also have a challenge of exercising at least 15 minutes a day. Hopefully, you're still doing your push-ups, squats, and lunges on a regular basis, because those are great things to do to build your muscle mass. Just a review by now, again, you should be keeping in mind your motivation, the reason you're working so hard on changing your life habits. You have to have a healthy relationship and understanding about calories and understanding what your calorie budget is. And of course, again, I will put in a plug for exercise. Exercise expands that calorie budget. In addition, we've begun to teach you that you need to have a sense of where these calories are coming from between proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And again, I emphasize planning is key, whether it's meal planning or anticipating and dealing with triggers, cues, or managing your eating behaviors and cravings. So that's very, very important. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about meal delivery kits. Meal delivery kits are becoming increasingly popular, spawned somewhat by the pandemic and our reluctance to go to grocery stores, but also spawned by the lack of time that some of us have to do grocery shopping. So there have been a number of meal kits, and somebody said there's over 100 different options of meal kit deliveries. But let's, before we start, talk about a couple terms, because there are two types of meal delivery services. There are meal kits, which are filled with pre-measured ingredients for completing recipes that get sent to your home, along with nice instructions, recipes, and tips. However, these meal kits require prep and cooking time, and these are the ones we're going to be talking about today. I also wanted to make you aware, if you're really stretched for time, that many of the services we talk about today also have what's called a meal delivery service, where they deliver nearly fully prepared microwave and oven-ready meals, which require no prep time, no chopping, and are all ready in about 5 minutes. Now, we're not going to talk about meal delivery services, but if that's something that you're considering, you need to at least consider use the same kind of considerations that we're going to use today when we talk about meal kit services. So at Be Well, we've taken a look at several meal kit services and analyzed them both nutritionally and cost-wise. Overview, if you're deciding on using a meal kit service, there's pros and cons. clearly the pros, no grocery shopping required. For some people, that can be a con. Some people like the trip to the store. They like to pick out their own ingredients. They like to take a look at their own produce. So some people like grocery shopping, but we consider that a pro. Clearly, there's an infinite variety of great recipes, and these meal delivery kits do a very nice job of making flavorful, not always nutrition, but certainly flavorful meals with high quality fresh ingredients. There's no question they come packaged individually and are fresh and ready to go. Now that also can be a con because you got to cook them fairly quickly, so they have a relatively short half-life in your home. Generally less processed ingredients for sure than fast foods, although there are some processed ingredients included in some of the delivery kits. You learn cooking skills. So from chopping to different cooking strategies and cooking methods, this will widen your skills. These kits will widen your skills in the kitchen and also give you a project. So if you want to do things together with somebody else, a partner, significant other, this is a great time to spend together making delicious meals. The final thing is enforces portion control. And again, when we talk about cons, some of the cons are for bigger eaters. The portions seem a bit small. My son uses this different meal delivery kits in Denver, and he lives with his significant other. She happens to be a smaller eater. He's a bigger eater, so things sort of average out. But portion control is an issue, and portion size can be one of the cons. So let's take, and this is an example of the interface that you'll see when you go onto a typical site. This is the Blue Apron interface, and you can see you can choose many different meals. Prep time is listed, and you can get some nutritional information, so you can make some wise choices, especially if you're someone who has a health concern like high blood pressure and you need to watch the sodium, or if you have elements of high cholesterol or blood sugar problems. You can take a look at the nutritional value of many of these meals. The cons, for sure, more expensive, even though you're saving time. Often there is not only a food cost, but also a delivery cost. In general, these services are light on fruits and vegetables. So if you are going to get them, I encourage you, if you're doing the Way of Life program, to supplement some of the meals with a trip to your farmer's market or to a place where you can get some reasonably priced produce options to add produce picks to your meals. As we'll see, often these meals are higher in sodium and saturated fat. Now, when we talk about the tips, we'll talk about the fact that you don't have to use all the salt that's included, but some of the processed ingredients have a high amount of sodium. We'll take a look at that. There is prep time required, and depending on your level of expertise in the kitchen, the prep time can be as much as an hour for some of these meals. So understand that. Some people feel that there's a bit more waste in the packaging for these meals, but other people will say that meals like this cut down on refrigeration costs, also cut down on food waste. So whether or not these create more waste is not completely clear. You can hear both sides of the argument. These can be a bit more problematic for people with food allergies because of cross-contamination, or people on special diets, although many of these larger meal kit delivery companies cater to elements of special diets. And occasionally, but rarely, there are delivery delays. So you may have to have a backup plan just in case your meal delivery is late. So those are the pros and cons. Now we're going to take a little bit of a look at different meal delivery kits. And our dietitians took a look at, I guess that's 7 different meal delivery kits. I also supplemented this information with some newer reviews that I took a look at online. And I think I can give you some general findings if you're considering meal delivery kits. So we prepared this table, and this table is going to sort of take you through the different meal delivery kits we looked at. At the bottom, we put in an average fast food meal, so you can take a look at these things. But take a look at the calories, and as you can see, and most of these servings are between 600 calories and 800 or so calories, which puts them a little bit healthier than the average fast food menu. I've divided these up in terms of relative cost. So if you're looking at less expensive options, that would be Every Plate and Dinnerly are sort of the more budget-minded meal delivery kit options. So these are great places to begin to look at meal delivery kits, especially if you're committed to increasing fruits and vegetables and produce pick with some of that money you're saving. So these are good choices generally. If we start with Every Plate and Dinnerly, lower cost, supplement with a bit more carbs and starches. So again, you're getting a bit more of the processed grains to provide the calories and a little less of produce picks. So the menus are great. There are different menus to choose from: classic, vegetarian, family menus. Recipes for both Every Plate and Dinnerly are generally very, very easy to follow. In general, these are nice entry points if you want to dip your toe in meal kit delivery services. The next two listed on the chart, Blue Apron and HelloFresh, would be considered sort of the granddaddies of meal delivery services. These are priced in between the most expensive food delivery kits and the least expensive. So they're sort of in the middle of the road. What we found with Blue Apron and HelloFresh is there's a lot of sodium. So if possible, don't add all the salt that they require. Also, even in their wellness options, their sodium loads can be pretty high. So pay attention to those. Again, an abundance of different recipes, a fair amount of prep time, especially with Blue Apron, but it will help you sharpen your cooking skills. The next option on the list is Purple Carrot, and Purple Carrot is a plant-based option, so there's plenty of vegetables. Like all of these, they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. They do offer meat substitutes, so that's what Purple Carrot would do. And certainly, since it's entirely plant-based, you can expect whole grains and tofu. And of course, meals have the lowest fat content, as we would expect, and probably the lowest amount of other animal associated products. So that makes sense. So again, if you're interested in vegan, vegetarian options, take a look at Purple Carrot. Although, as I mentioned, most of these other meal kits will attempt to accommodate these types of special diets. Below Purple Carrot are the two meal delivery kits that would sort of be considered the Cadillac, the higher priced meal delivery services. Sunbasket, which has an abundance of choices with paleo, gluten-free, Mediterranean, pescatarian, diabetes-friendly options. So Sunbasket is a decent option if you have the money to pay for it. And Marley Spoon is Martha Stewart's meal kit delivery. So if you like Martha Stewart and you like her recipes, you may want to take a look at Marley Spoon. But again, understand that the nutritional content may be a little bit less healthy in the Marley Spoon. As you can see, average fat about equal to an average fast food meal. And you can see the sodium content of some of these meals. So this will give you an idea of how to analyze. Now, what you can do is you can sort of have an everyday meal kit delivery option like every plate or Dinnerly, and have some splurge options from the bottom of the list, Marley Spoon or Sunbasket. And again, if you're interested in developing your skills around the kitchen, this is not a bad idea. So overall recommendations. Oh, before I get there, other services. There are a couple other services that are on the market now that we haven't had a chance to look at yet. There's one called Home Chef, which offers a good variety, lots of customization, generally recommended for picky eaters and families where there needs to be a lot of variety. This is in the middle price point, along with HelloFresh and Blue Apron. And then there's a service called Gobble, which takes out some of the prep steps, but is still considered a meal delivery kit. Maximum prep time is 15 minutes. So if you're bothered by the sort of longer prep time that's available, you can use Gobble and cut down on prep time. So here are our recommendations. It would be to compare and try different services. Consider subscribing to more than one, as I mentioned, but for sure, please take advantage of discount codes and free offers. Introductory offers are great. You should be able to get free shipping. You should be able to get some free meals in there. Watch the added salt, especially while cooking. Don't add all the salt if you can keep from doing that. Sharpen your cooking skills. Check out and use the site's video, because your video feeds for instruction into newer cooking methods. Also, note that some sites list difficulty in preparation, so you can take a look at all those things. Make sure your deliveries don't sit out in the hot sun right now. We're just entering summertime, so make sure that your meal kits are delivered to a place where they can be kept cool, although all of them come with ice bags or some kind of refrigeration method inside. And in general, you're going to have to supplement with additional produce. But as I said, we're entering summer, so farmers markets are open, and this is a great time of the year to expand your palette when it comes to produce picks anyhow. In summary, meal kits are becoming increasingly popular. They reduce prep time. They provide convenience. They introduce variety. I know that when we were raising our kids, we had maybe 10 or 12 different meals that we sort of rotated. Boy, you can really increase the variety with meal kit delivery services. Most of the kits don't provide extremely healthy meals. So what we're trying to do in the Way of Life program is to teach you to rely on produce picks, whole grains, and examine meatless options. Watch your sodium, watch added sugars. Unless you choose those options in these kits, you may have to watch the nutritional value. And the best option for prepared meals may be to just do the things that our dietitians like you to do, which means go out and buy the food yourself, prepare it, package it in appropriate portions, and then store it properly. But if you need help with any of those things, we're happy to stand by you and give you a hand. We want you to keep on tracking, and we always remind you can only go back 3 days for tracking purposes. While you're following the Way of Life program and learning new skills, we want you to also practice one important skill, and that is self-forgiveness and understanding that tomorrow is a new day and human beings are capable of changing at any time. Our experts stand ready to help you in any way they can. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk about another interesting topic. In the meantime, if you need any additional help, just reach out to us at Be Well Solutions, and we'll be happy to give you a hand. So until next week, have a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in.